Welcome back to 360 Success. Again, I'm joined with Amy, my lovely bride, and we're diving into marriage. And today, last time we talked about fixing your spouse. Today, we're talking about the soil, which in this case is emotional safety. Because in our most intimate relationships, we are the most vulnerable to injury or emotional injury. I heard a counselor say it this way, you open your heart and yourself up more emotionally to those that you care the deepest for, you're the closest with, which is your spouse. And so when you make yourself vulnerable like that, you're also open to deeper wounds. And sometimes it's little things that can pierce deeply because there's no defense up. And so we're going to talk about the foundation of every healthy marriage, which is, like I said, emotional safety, because things do not grow in unsafe soil. You can have love, you can have history, you can be attracted to the person, you can even be committed, but if emotional safety is missing, the relationship will struggle to grow. So, what is emotional safety? What's that for you?
Well, I don't have to worry about you rejecting me or judging me or some conditional format of who I am or who I am with you.
So, you can be honest without fear of being judged.
Right.
Or the thing I struggle with is being the fixer. So sometimes you're just honest. I'm like, well, do this, this, and this. And you're just like, I just wanted to tell you, I'm not looking
Right.
for.
Solutions.
So
I just
what?
need to
Yeah.
word vomit.
Another good thing we've learned is, would you like some input?
Yes.
That's a big one. It's also known we can express ourselves without being shut down, mocked, or attacked. That is when you're a fixer, that's a big issue. If not, because the other person can feel like you're talking down to them or you're mocking them or you're just
Mhm.
like, oh, that's so dumb. You just need to do this.
Right. Yeah. That's a big one that we used to struggle with.
Yes.
But I think you've learned that there are times that I just need to vent. And then sometimes after I vent, I'm like, okay, well, what would you do or how would you have handled it? But not always in the moment do I want you to fix it or give me solutions.
That's right. You got to give it some distance and some perspective. And here's where marriages start to quietly break down. Like we talked about, it kind of erodes things where people stop feeling safe and then they close down, they shut down, they stop being open. And then when that happens or that disappears, connection follows.
That's very true. Because you talked about like the heart being open and vulnerable, but then when you start to put up walls, it's almost like you cannot reopen those places. Like it is not what it was before.
Yep.
Very like steel. And then you tend to have your lens changed on how you look at that person or how you look at other people because of that hurt, because of that being hurt and that emotional not having emotional safety. So, like, back to the flower,
Mhm.
think about like it rains and rains and rains. And so the soil, it starts to erode and it no longer has soil. And then the sun comes back out. It will cook and fry that flower because it doesn't have anything to hold it.
Doesn't have anything to protect the root and hold it
Right.
and sustain it.
I
That's,
like analogies.
that's really good. One of the things that destroys emotional safety is criticism. N- Sometimes it starts out innocently, but
Mhm.
if you tend to be an overly critical person, which I can be, I kind of grew up with, you can do 99 things right, but why didn't you do that? Just point out that little wrong thing. Um, I struggle with that all the time. And you just smile and you look at me and you tilt your head and you're like, really?
Yeah, but look at all the other things. Well, and we have team members that struggle with that. And again, I think it's through the lens. If you grew up in a house that, were criticized, you tend to be more sensitive to that versus someone who was not raised in that kind of environment. You're just like, whatever, I did all these other things right. So to you,
And so, there's no feedback, there's no conversation. It's just criticism rather than saying, hey, can we talk about something that's been bothering me?
yeah, is now a good time?
Yeah. And instead of saying, you always do this. And so,
Which puts the wall up and we don't get to talk about it. And then we go in the crazy cycle because then I'm going to be disrespectful and you're going to feel unloved. But then, what help me understand how you're feeling,
right,
right? What is going on? What am I doing? How are you hearing it?
what did you hear me say? Because that obviously, the way that response was. That was a big thing for me, is seeing your response to what I said. And I'm like, what did you hear me say? Because
As we know from your lips to my ear, there's this AI
no,
devil bot.
it's the devil. I mean, that's how I know the devil's real, because the words leave my ears and they
No,
get
your mouth.
changed. Yeah, they leave my mouth, and then by the time they get to your ear, it's something entirely different. So it's the devil. That's all I can explain it as. So how do you rebuild safety if safety has been destroyed in the relationship? You replace reaction with curiosity. Tell me, tell me what led you to that decision, or what were you thinking when that had not. What were you thinking? It's tell me what you were thinking in that process. Um,
Yeah, when I said this, I noticed your
yeah,
demeanor changed. What did I say that hurt you or made you react that way?
help me understand what you're feeling.
Well, and you remember the other analogy, another one is, and I don't know if we read this or in counseling where they're like, your problem is over here
Mm,
and you two are on the same team working on that problem
yep,
versus,
attacking each other.
yeah,
You attack the problem.
yeah,
So
that was a good one.
yeah. So help me understand what you're feeling. That shift can really change everything, and then putting the problem in perspective. But people tend to open up when they feel safe. And when you're attacking each other, you don't feel safe. When you both get the mindset of we're together and we are trying to fix this issue or this problem, then we can feel safe with each other, because we're not going to attack each other. We have the united goal of fixing the problem.
Well, and then you're feeling validated and heard. And then the bigger thing would be that there's a change
Mm,
because if you talk through all that, get it all out in the open, and then 10 minutes later, it's a repeat, which I'm not saying it won't happen again, but there has to also be change in
right.
both.
And it's small steps. I mean, to change behavior, especially when it's just, you know, ingrained in you, it takes a lot to change your behavior. And when you're fixing issues, it doesn't mean you won't disagree. It just means you feel safe within the disagreement. You feel safe
Right.
disagreeing without
Right.
being attacked.
Yes. That's a good point.
And so we can have conflict, but still be connected, still realize that we're on the same team, but only if both of us feel heard.
Say,
Yeah, and safe.
right. That's good.
So what would be the challenge going forward with this one?
To learn what safety in your spouse looks like. Because
Mm,
I don't know that everybody has the same checklist. I mean, even if you look at like our team members or maybe even our kids, our families, everybody has a different measuring stick for what makes them feel safe. So I think the probably the first step would be find out what does that look like, sound like, feel like.
Well, and I think just taking time to create space, that's a big thing right now. People are like, create space for whatever. But if you create space where they can speak freely, you guys can speak freely, and sometimes you just have to preface things. I know this doesn't sound right, but this is just the thought. It's
Got to
not
get it out.
polished. It's not
Yeah,
anything. Let's work through it.
got to get
And
it out.
and then without um, interruption or correction or becoming defensive, just let the thought get out there and then work on that. But just start with just listening rather than just jumping into,
Mm,
you
yeah,
know,
don't start already solving it and
yeah,
start speaking solutions. You just,
yeah, you haven't even heard all the problem, and you've already. And men typically are fixers, and so that's one thing for all you men listening. You've got to listen,
listen more than you talk.
and sometimes they don't even want you to help fix it. Just listen,
Yep.
just feel heard, because then that gives you more confidence in
Acceptance,
acceptance. That's right.
space, all the things.
Yep. So the key today was emotional safety, and emotional safety is the soil where everything else can grow, and without it, nothing really lasts. So that's all we've got for this episode. And next time, we're going to continue this talk on growing your marriage relationship.
Feel like you need to buy me flowers to go along with the
Yeah.
analogies.
Yeah. Maybe next time we record something, I'll have some fresh flowers sitting back
Yeah,
here for you.
that'd be good.
Yeah. All right. If you enjoyed this, please share it with somebody, and then make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcast or
Spotify.
Spotify or wherever you consume content. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.